What's up, Tan and J-Man Show Nation? This is Tanner Lee, one half of the Tan and J-Man Show, and boy, do we have a great deal for you. Right now, when you go to tanandjmanshowstore.com and type in the promo code TANandJman when you check out, that's right, Tan and J-Man, all in caps, you get free shipping on any order through the end of 2021. That's the end of 2021, that's December 31st, 2021, so if you're looking to get yourself a short sleeve t-shirt, long sleeve t-shirt, hoodie, pint glass, coffee mug, stickers, so much more. TanandJmanShowStore.com makes the perfect holiday gift, supports our show, and at the same time, you can look great doing so. Please go to TanandJmanShowStore.com and buy some merch today. Now sit back, relax, and enjoy another brand new episode of the Tan and J-Man Show. It's Monday night. You know what that means. Time for another brand new episode of the Tan and J-Man Show, episode 262, to be exact for those counting, which is probably zero of you. But to my right, in studio this week, it's not Josh the J-Man month, though. It is my father, Eric Lee. Dad, thanks for being a last-minute sub.
Not a problem.
You know, the J-Man's had a hard work day and wanted to take time off, or Illinois plays at 6:30. I'm not sure which one it was, but either way, he deserves a break once in a while.
Absolutely.
So you got some big shoes to fill.
Some really big shoes.
Really big shoes to fill. But do you have a birdie bogey question for me this week? It's my turn. I'm 2 strokes behind Josh, so hopefully you teed one up for me so I can get within a stroke here.
Well, this one shouldn't be too difficult.
Oh, well.
Well, as you know, in 3 days, the annual Thanksgiving football day.
Yep.
3 games this Thursday.
Mm-hmm.
My question is, who is the career receiving yardage leader on Thanksgiving Day games only?
That's interesting because the Lions lead Thanksgiving games with, I believe, 81 played in history. The Cowboys are second with 53. Then in third place, you have a tie right now between the Bears and the Packers, but the Bears are going to take over third place come Thursday. So I got to think it's somebody that played for one of those 3 teams.
Well, you're probably thinking correct.
So, but and I can't think of any Lions wide receiver. I can think of one, and I can think of a couple Dallas ones. So I'll give it my best shot here at the end of the program.
Well, I was going to go with most career TD passes, but it's a little conflicting. I got Romo with 18, and Stafford had 17 going into last year, I think. Which would have, and he threw one, which would have made it 18. But I wasn't 100% sure. So I
that's interesting. I would have guessed Aikman. So
no, you would have been wrong.
Yeah, and the Lions, I wouldn't have guessed any of those besides Stafford because none of them can stay there long enough.
Yeah, they haven't had any good quarterbacking other than Stafford.
They have not. But the birdie or bogey trivia question is brought to you by, like it is every week, Noble Gnome LLC. For fresh, locally grown, nutrient-dense produce from Bryce and Katie Romine of Mentone, Indiana. Make sure to like them on Facebook, follow them on Instagram, and check out their website, noblegnomellc.com. As the J-Man would say, get your veggies. I don't have quite the cadence that Josh does on that.
Yeah.
He changes his cadence quite a bit.
Plus, you don't eat any veggies.
That's true. That's true. I don't. Not a few.
Yeah.
Just not too many.
Very few.
Very few. So what do you want to begin with tonight, Dad? We got a lot to cover. We got college hoops. We got college football. We got NFL.
Well, let's start with college football.
Let's do it. College football, another interesting week around the landscape of the college. Probably the weakest slate of games, though, we've had on a national scale. We had some interesting Big Ten ones, but national scale, pretty weak this weekend.
I think a lot of that's because the SEC typically plays no names getting ready for their final tune-ups.
Yes.
So there was a lot of that going on. So there's a lot of that.
I don't like how they do that.
Well,
but
understandable,
it's been the SEC way for years.
I think number one, Georgia, who they had somebody, they were up 59-0.
Whoever they
Charleston
played,
Southern.
There wasn't even a line in Vegas because it would have been over 60, I believe.
So
there wasn't
a lot of volatility in the top other than 2 conference games. Utah took it to Oregon up 28-0 at half.
Yeah. Oregon's done.
Yeah.
And then Alabama got tested
again. That's 3 times this year they've won by a touchdown or less. you still just think Alabama. Well, it'll be interesting. I mean, they've got to beat Georgia. I don't think they're going to put them in with 2 losses. So they've got to beat Auburn this week. And, Bo Mix is not playing quarterback for Auburn because of an injury. But Auburn, there's nothing they'd like better than to ruin Alabama's season.
Sure, I don't think this Auburn team's got it in them.
I don't either.
But we'll see. Crazier things have happened, I suppose. I got a question for you for the playoff, but we'll do that later after we kind of talk about the Big Ten and pick some games and everything. But what do you think of the Big Ten action this weekend?
Actually, pretty predictable. Nebraska and Wisconsin was probably the best game of the weekend.
Another close loss for Nebraska.
And a tough non-call at the end of the game. Whatever reason, Nebraska got a holding penalty when they got down about the 10 or 11-yard line. They were taking their time. Then they just tried a couple heaves towards the end zone. And on 4th down, they threw one. And the guy was about a yard behind with his ball. But the defensive back definitely hit him. Nebraska should have got the ball inside the 10 with a chance for at least one more play, maybe 2. So, Nebraska it's ridiculous. They're 1-7 in the conference, but they're plus minus on points. They're plus 7 for the year. Because the one game they won by so much. And then all the games they lose are always by 7 or less.
Yeah, that game they won was against Northwestern.
Right.
They clocked Northwestern pretty good.
They beat them by almost 50 points.
But I did see Adrian Martinez got banged up against Wisconsin. He's out this week against Iowa.
Oh, he is?
He is out. They ruled him out today. Scott Frost said he hopes he goes through the senior day festivities just in case that's his last time. But Frost has been public about it. He wants him back next year, which I don't know. I don't know. I mean, that guy, he hasn't got better since his freshman year. So
no, he makes some big plays. He is the all-time leader now in Nebraska total yardage.
Yeah.
And if you grew up like I did in the 70s and 80s, Nebraska was the Alabama of those days.
Yeah.
They dominated.
Well, they were pretty good in the 90s, too. Even in the early 2000s, I saw them make a championship game and got crushed by arguably one of the best college football teams of all time, that Miami-Florida team.
Right.
But, a lot of predictable games. Boilermakers got a win at Wrigley Field. That had to be cool for you to watch as a Cub fan.
Yeah, 32-14. It was a little irritating because Purdue could not score inside the 20s. Northwestern just isn't built to score points. They did run it down Purdue's throat in the third quarter on one drive. They only threw one pass, and it was like a 13 – reminded me of Rutgers game last year where they just could not stop them. 5 yards up the middle every play. But Milton Wright, the number 2 receiver on Purdue, had a tremendous game. He had 213 yards receiving, 3 touchdowns.
Yep. Happy for him because Jeff Brom many times has said he's the player that practices harder than anybody else. If it wasn't for Rondell Moore and David Bell, he probably would have got the amount of balls he probably deserves to get. Yeah. But he hasn't complained, and he's probably going to be the number 1 guy next year.
Well, yeah, and I think he's showing that he can do it. And Aiden O'Connell, I can't remember any time in my lifetime watching a quarterback have a better 4 or 5 game stretch at Purdue than Aiden O'Connell.
192 attempts in a row, consecutive attempts without an interception.
Well, that blew that, didn't it?
I know. I've said that to many people today. I probably jinxed that. But going back to the fourth quarter of Wisconsin games, the last time he's thrown one from Nebraska, Michigan State, Ohio State, and then Northwestern, he's been nails.
Yeah. And, he had a bad game against Wisconsin, but that's about it. He threw a couple against Notre Dame when he had to go into emergency duty.
Minnesota and the rain.
Yeah.
But, I don't know. It was interesting. People were talking, would Purdue's record be different if he started the whole year? I don't necessarily think so.
Well, maybe not. Maybe.
I still don't think he gets to win at Notre Dame. And, he started against Minnesota and Wisconsin. Helped him win against Illinois coming in late. But I hope he comes back for a 6th year, but we'll see.
Yeah, he has a shot at being second team all-conference.
Yeah, and that's without starting 3 games.
Right.
He's definitely playing the best. I would say he's not even playing the best. Based on his play this year and even the past 2 years, I'd say he's the best quarterback Brahms had and the best quarterback Purdue's had since Curtis Painter. Is that fair?
Yeah, well, I would think Aiden's better than Curtis Painter. And, Curtis did he got some cups of coffee in the NFL.
He was a 4-year starter, though, but
He did get benched for Joey Elliott for a game or two, didn't he?
Well, Joey got hurt the game. He got benched, and then they had to bring him back in. Justin Siller kind of got mixed. He got hurt, and then Joey took over his only year in 2009, his 5th year. So.
Yeah. Aiden's a good player.
Yeah. Yeah. But the bucket game coming up this week, I think it's the 125th or 26th meeting between the two teams, the 96th meeting for the bucket. Of course, they didn't have the game last year. Last time they played it was 2019 in Rochester, which Indiana won in double overtime.
Mm-hmm.
Two teams going in opposite directions. You got Purdue at 7-4. If they can get this win, that's 8 wins in the regular season for the first time since 2006. Indiana's got 2 wins. They're 0-4 in the conference right now, and they got to be about the most disappointed fan base in the country, coming off a 6-2 season last year in the Outback Bowl appearance, and the year before a 8-win Gator Bowl appearance.
Yeah, and they start 16 seniors. And
10 on defense.
I suppose some of them will come back next year, know, with the COVID year, but I'm not sure what happened. They did play a murder schedule. There's no question about it.
Had some injuries.
They've had some injuries. They're now playing their third-string quarterback who wasn't quite ready. But they actually had their fourth string come in and lead them to a touchdown. Threw the first touchdown pass to a receiver in the Big Ten season for Indiana.
Yeah, it took the fourth quarter of the 8th conference game. That's pretty mind-blowing.
That is. And so, we'll go through predictions here in a little bit. But
I don't think that offense coordinator will be back for Indiana next year. I think he's gone. Their old offense coordinator is doing a good job at Fresno State, and he's a hot name for the Washington State or Washington job.
I know. And, Indiana has a pretty good defense. Number 47, McFadden.
Yeah.
Every time I watch Indiana, he seems to make every play.
And, I'm glad you brought him up because I think their whole season turned when they were up 14-0 on Cincinnati. He got called for that targeting penalty and got ejected. They haven't been the same since.
Well, he about had a targeting in the third quarter against Minnesota, and I thought right away, well, he's out for the first half, and they rescinded it. But he's a good football player.
How about Ohio State against Michigan State?
That was unbelievable. It's 49-0. It looked like it could have been 100-0 if they won.
When they click on all cylinders, it's hard to argue that they can't beat Georgia.
Yeah. And their defense finally played a complete game.
Yeah.
I keep seeing they held Walker to 25 yards, but they only gave it to him 6 times.
Well, that took him out of the Heisman race. It's a 2-man race now, in my opinion, between Ohio State quarterback C.J. Stroud and Alabama quarterback Bryce Young. Yeah, had a heck of a game against Arkansas the other night.
Yeah, you'd have to have somebody that just does something stupid.
They got the most talent around them, but
it's become a quarterback award for one of the best 3 teams in football every year.
Matt Corral was up for it for a while, and Pickett's putting great stats up for Pittsburgh, but I don't think it'll be enough.
Yeah, Sam Howell.
Yeah,
and then. You always thought Spencer Rattler, and he got replaced by Caleb Williams for Oklahoma. And then Caleb had a bad game when they lost 2 weeks ago. So it does seem like it's going to be one of those two.
Right. Lastly, before we get to our picks, Dan Mullen out of Florida.
Yeah. Yeah,
he was the hottest coach going a couple of years ago.
He's a good football coach. And
he'll get another job, just maybe a little less job than Florida. Florida's a tough job.
Yeah, be careful what you wish for if you want to be an SEC coach because they'll get rid of you in a heartbeat.
Well, and how about look at all the jobs open. Florida's open, LSU's open, USC's open, Washington's open, Washington State's open, TCU's open.
Which was shocking. Gary
I
Patterson.
think Miami, Florida's got to be open
soon.
I mean, do you have any predictions who some of these jobs might land?
The interesting one I keep hearing was Brian Kelly to USC, and I cannot see how that would be. That's what the game day crew, Herb Street and them were all saying. And
I don't see that, but
yeah, I almost think it's easier to get to the
playoff
championship if you're at Notre Dame than it is USC.
And we'll talk about Notre Dame here in a bit.
Yeah.
And I don't know. He got Luke Fickell. He could probably take a job if he wanted to. James Franklin, I've been saying, I think he's done at Penn State.
Yeah. His year didn't impress anyone.
Mel Tucker supposedly getting this huge extension from Michigan State, but nothing's been official or signed yet. So is he waiting to see if he gets an offer from one of these schools? Is other jobs is UCLA going to be open? Arizona State, there's a rumor that could be open, even though Herb's doing pretty well this year. That whole violation stuff.
Well, here's a name to keep in Deion Sanders at Jackson State. It would be a splash move, but wouldn't shock me for him to go to an SEC school.
Well, could Florida State open up?
Florida State, it looked
all
like it early in the year.
Florida jobs open up?
Yeah, it looked like it early in the year. Florida State's kind of redirected their season here in the last 5 or 6 weeks.
Watch for Lane Kiffin possibly to Florida or Miami. I heard he really likes it down in the Miami area.
Well,
I know Ole Miss will throw as much money as they can at him, I think, to keep him, which as they should. But we'll see. It's if Manny Diaz does get fired from Florida State, or not Florida State, Miami, Florida, you go back to the Mac Brown years. His coordinators at one time were Wes Munchip and Manny Diaz, and then I forget his other coordinator he had there, and none of them have made it as head coaches. Everybody thought they were shoo-ins. I remember Muschamp was the coach to be whenever Mac retired.
Right.
And then he left for the Florida job,
right.
and Mac gets canned. And now Texas has been through one coach, and Sarkisian's not having a good first year.
Right. It'll be interesting to see that, too.
And they're going to go to the SEC soon.
Yeah.
So we'll see. I'm sure there'll be a lot of moving parts. We might even see some NFL coordinators come to college. I mean, in college coordinators, Bill O'Brien could be up for a job. He's offense coordinator at Alabama.
Yeah.
He could be grabbed by somebody. So
yeah, he would be a good pick.
The coaching carousel is going to start moving in motion next week.
You're probably right.
So, but let's pick some Big Ten games and some top 25 games. Starting with the Big Ten, we'll put confident points on these. Friday, Iowa at Nebraska.
Well, until I heard the Martinez, I had out Nebraska for one. I've seen them both play. I think Nebraska's better than Iowa. Iowa just wins somehow, but I thought Nebraska might. Is that Nebraska, right?
Yes.
I'm still going to go Nebraska one.
I wouldn't be shocked. I picked Iowa, but only for 2. Iowa's a grinded-out team. They find ways to win close games, but this wouldn't shock me either way. The game, as it's marked, and this is the biggest game, Saturday, it's the Fox noon game. It's game day. The winner has the Big Ten's best chance to go to the playoff. Ohio State at Michigan.
Well, let me preface this. I think Michigan is the second best team in the Big Ten.
I agree.
Top 7 or 8 in the country.
I agree with you there,
and
too.
I pick Ohio State for 6.
I have Ohio State for 5.
By the way, Ohio State's beaten Michigan 15 in the last 16. Can you name the Michigan quarterback that beat them in the last 16 years? Beat them once?
15 out of the last 16 times.
Yeah.
So we're probably going back to that Ohio State team in 11. Fick was there. Was it Ryan Mallett?
It was not. It was Denard Robinson.
Oh, Shoelace. Okay. All right. Maryland,
that was almost your trivia.
Oh, that was a good one.
Yeah.
Maryland at Rutgers. The winner goes bowling. Loser stays home.
I'm picking Rutgers. I don't know why, but I'm picking them for 3.
I got Rutgers for 3 as well. I think Schiano gets it done. Yeah. He's done a pretty good job there. Maryland started hot. They started off, remember, 4-0. They won 1 game since.
Yeah, I know.
And that was Indiana. Penn State at Michigan State. Interesting one here. Franklin could lose, their fifth game? Yeah. Or Michigan State loses 3 of the last 4.
I think that's the 2 most overrated teams in the conference.
Yeah.
But I picked Michigan State for 5.
I have Michigan State for 1.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just not very confident in it. I think it's a coin flip.
Yeah.
Northwestern at Illinois. Neither team's going bowling, but Illinois can improve their record to 5-7.
I'm going with the Fighting Josh Muntz for 2.
I think he's back on the bandwagon. I'm taking Illinois for 6.
Yeah.
He was talking about the line. I talked to him earlier today, and he said he likes the progress they're making.
Yeah.
So I think
they outgained Iowa quite a bit.
That boom you just heard, he got back on the bandwagon a little bit.
Yeah.
And his Miami, Florida team's not doing so hot. So.
No, he's not wearing that.
But if Kiffin goes down there, he might hop on the lane train.
Mm-hmm.
The bucket game, Indiana at Purdue.
I hate this, but I'm picking Purdue for 7.
I did too. Kiss of death. There we go.
I've seen a lot of years where the team that stinks.
Yeah.
Ends up winning.
I think
game.
Purdue's 15.5-point favorites right now. On paper, it reminds me of a Joe Tiller Indiana matchup. Tiller was 10-2 against Indiana and hung 50 on them a lot.
Michigan defense is pretty good. Indiana defense, but I just Indiana hasn't been able to score, and I don't know if their running back is back yet. He's pretty good.
Right.
Carr from USC. Right. I think that's a big miss for him. He's a good back, so. I'm going Purdue for 7, and I hope I'm right.
I hope you're right, and I hope I'm right, too.
Yeah.
In the battle for Paul Bunyan's axe, I believe it's called, Wisconsin at Minnesota.
I got Wisconsin for 4.
I do as well.
Minnesota.
They keep finding ways. Fleck, you like him or hate him, he finds ways, and they're about down to their 5th-string running back, and I don't get it. They just find ways to win games.
They have the biggest offensive line in the conference, and he likes to run the football. Tanner Morgan's okay.
Yep.
He's okay.
In my last Big Ten power rankings for the year, I got Indiana 14th, Northwestern 13th, Nebraska 12th, Maryland 11th, Rutgers 10, Illinois 9, Penn State 8, Minnesota 7, Iowa 6, Purdue 5, Michigan State 4, Wisconsin 3, Michigan 2, and Ohio State 1.
Probably pretty. It's really kind of back to the old days where it's the big two.
Yeah.
And then
Wisconsin's
really
owns the
good
West.
now, but
they own the West.
Yeah.
Let's pick some other top 25 matchups here. Let me pull it up on my phone. Should have had this ready. The Egg Bowl, Thursday night. This should be a good one. Number 12, Ole Miss at number 25, Mississippi State. Mississippi State's a 1-point favorite.
I'm going to go with Ole Miss.
Ole Miss, you're going with the lane train over Leach.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I agree. Matt Corral already came out, said he's pretty much jumping pro. I think he's the difference maker. I think they get it done. Boise State with a 7-4 record at number 19, 10-1 San Diego State. This one's on Friday. Boise State's a 2.5-point favorite at a ranked opponent.
I'm going to go with Boise State.
I'll take San Diego State. I'll take the Aztecs.
Well, they play on green a lot, and Boise State plays on blue, so we'll see.
Cincinnati Bearcats, 11-0 at 7-4 East Carolina. Cincinnati's a 13.5-point favorite.
I think Cincinnati wins and they cover.
Okay, I think they need to.
Mm-hmm.
I think they need to. It'll be interesting to see what the rankings come out tomorrow night.
The best thing ever happened to them is Houston making that championship game with their 10-1 record.
Yeah.
So, they have a chance for a quality win at the end of the year.
Skipping a few of these, but let's go. North Carolina, 6-5 at 8-3, number 20, NC State, Friday night game. NC State's a 5.5-point favorite.
I'm going with the Wolfpack.
I agree. We will not predict the Houston-UConn game. Number 10, Wake Forest, 9-2 at 6-5 Boston College. Wake Forest, a 5-point favorite.
I'm going with Boston College. Wake Forest is hitting reality.
I agree with you. Yep. Clemson drilled them.
Manhandled them.
Number 1, Georgia, 35-point favorite on the road at 3-8 Georgia Tech. This used to be one of the college football's better rivalries.
Yeah, I think Georgia wins that right about 35 because they call up the dogs.
Notre Dame blanked them.
Yeah, it was ridiculous.
Texas Tech, 6-5. Texas Tech at number 11, 9-2
Baylor.
Yep.
All day.
Oregon State, 7-4 at 9-2 Oregon, who's ranked right now number 3, but they're going to fall. Oregon's a 7-point favorite.
I'm going Oregon State just because Oregon is hurting right now.
I think Oregon bounces back and gets a win, but it wouldn't shock me. Oregon State beat them last year.
Yeah, I know.
So I think a lot of the kids will remember that. The Iron Bowl, number 2, Alabama, 10-1 at 6-5 Auburn. Alabama's a 19.5-point favorite.
Yeah, Alabama covers that.
Yeah. Number 16, Texas A&M, 8-3 at 5-6 LSU. A&M's a 6.5-point favorite.
It'd be Big Ed's last game too.
Yep.
I'm still going with A&M.
I want to take LSU because it's Orgeron's last game. Players are rally around, but I think A&M's too good.
Yep.
Bedlam, number 13, Oklahoma, 10-1 at number 9, 10-1 Oklahoma State. Big 12's last chance to get a team in.
The winner of that game, and plus if they win the next week in the has a legitimate shot at the playoffs. Yep. And
Oklahoma State's a 4-point favorite, by the way.
I think Oklahoma will beat them. I'm pulling for Oklahoma State, but I think Oklahoma wins that.
I agree. 9-2, number 18, Pittsburgh at 5-6, Syracuse. I think this comes down to Dino Babers' job. If he wins and can get him bowl eligible, he's probably still there. If not, he's probably fired, which he probably should have been fired a year ago.
Yeah, I think if that's the case, I think Dino's looking for work.
I do too, because I think Pickett's going to put up a bunch of yards on them.
Mm-hmm.
And number 8, Notre Dame, 19-point favorites at 3-8 Stanford. Could Stanford become open? Did Brian Shaw blow his chance at multiple NFL opportunities over the years?
That would be awfully dumb of Stanford. Brian Shaw's been a great coach, but this is not Stanford's team.
No, they beat Oregon.
I was looking at Notre Dame's schedule today,
yes.
And I noticed they only had the Sagarin rankings. They only had 3 teams they'd played in the top 48 of the 130. A lot of that's not their fault. I mean, USC, Stanford, Florida State,
North Carolina,
all way worse than they were supposed to be. But it ended up, especially when Notre Dame needs quality wins at the end of the year, they end up with Georgia Tech and Stanford. I mean, it's not a whole
Navy.
lot in Navy. Yeah.
I mean, Purdue's their second best, as far as records, second best win on their schedule.
Absolutely.
Now, everybody laughs at Toledo. At 6-5, Toledo's got a better record than 7 of those opponents on their schedule.
In Virginia, even would have been a pretty impressive win, but Virginia played without their quarterback.
Right.
So
a
6-5 Virginia team. So yeah, the Wisconsin game obviously looks a lot better now.
Right.
Purdue game looks a lot better now, but Notre Dame they don't have a lot of trophies on their, they don't have a lot of big wins this year over quality teams.
And speaking of Notre Dame, this is one I wanted to ask you about the playoff. I have a sneaking feeling Notre Dame's going to sneak in the playoff.
I totally agree.
Because and people are saying, what, again? Well, here's my Big 12. I'm not sold that Oklahoma State goes and beats whoever they're supposed to in the Big 12 championship.
Which could be, if Oklahoma State wins, they'd have to beat Oklahoma twice. If they beat Oklahoma twice, I think Oklahoma State grabs that last spot.
I mean, I think Georgia gets in.
Yep.
I think they beat Alabama. Now, if Alabama wins, Georgia and Alabama get in, I think. But a 2-loss Alabama, I don't think jumps a 1-loss Notre Dame. Cincinnati will get in as long as they don't slip up, I think. If they slip up, then Notre Dame definitely can get in. Ohio State or Michigan, the winner of that wins the Big Ten championship game over Wisconsin, then they're in.
Right.
But even with all that happens, so say you got Georgia, Ohio State, and Cincinnati, I think a 1-loss Notre Dame gets over a 2-loss Alabama and maybe gets over an Oklahoma State.
Yeah. Well,
Oklahoma might be different.
Right. I think if Oklahoma's 1 loss, they're in. I think Alabama with 2 losses, although they wouldn't have any marquee wins, but I think just because it's Alabama.
But you can't take Notre Dame over Cincinnati.
No. The best thing for Notre Dame is if Cincinnati loses.
If they're tied at 1 loss, then Cincinnati's not getting in no matter what.
Because their schedule's even weaker
or
than
if Ohio State or Michigan slipped to Wisconsin, then that gets Notre Dame right in.
Oh, yeah.
And here we go again.
Yeah.
Everybody says join the conference. I'd love to see them join conference, but if you're getting into playoff every year or every other year, why join the conference?
It will hurt them in the next week. They won't have a chance to put up a quality win.
It's true.
They probably would have been better if the ACC would have invited them to play in the championship.
Right.
Yeah.
But it is nice to see some different teams. No Clemson.
Yeah.
But
that's about it.
Yeah. I mean, Georgia's still kind of new to the college football playoff. I think
they're always in the hunt.
They're always in the hunt. And Cincinnati would be really new. I mean, that'd be neat. And Michigan would be new if they could get in, or Oklahoma State.
Yeah.
But Oklahoma wouldn't. So
it's
interesting. It's been a wild year of college football. Yet here we are with a lot of the same teams in the mix.
And I think we always will. I think
I want them to. I'm ready for them to expand to 8. I'm excited for that.
And I don't think they need to go higher than 8.
No,
I think you get the 5 conference champions and 3 others.
Yep.
So.
Yep. Well, before we get into talking some NFL, why don't we do some on this day?
Okay.
Let's learn about what's happened on this day in sports history on November 22nd. Haven't even looked at this yet, so. Let's see here. On this day, 1957, Mickey Mantle won the AL MVP for the second time. He's a pretty good player.
I got his baseball card.
Yes, I know you do.
Mm-hmm.
I know where that card is. On this day, 1959, the AFL, the American Football League, conducted its first draft in Minneapolis with the 8 clubs selecting their player rosters for the inaugural 1960 season.
Interesting.
On the day, 1961, St. Louis Hawk Bob Pettit set an NBA record, hitting 19 of 19 free throws.
That's pretty good.
I don't know if that record still stands, but that's what it says.
No, there's some guys who went deeper, but he was one of the first guys to ever score 20,000 points in the NBA.
On this day, 1966, the 32nd Heisman Trophy was won by who?
Steve Spurrier?
Yes. Did you see my computer?
No.
Yep. The old ball coach.
The runner-up was O.J. Simpson.
In 66 it was?
No. He was runner-up in 67.
Was it Greasy?
It was Bob Gracie in 66. You're right. I should have known that.
On this day in 1986, 20-year-old Mike Tyson became the youngest heavyweight champion in boxing history when he stopped title holder Trevor Berbick in round 2 at Las Vegas Hilton to earn the WBC title. Usually when Mike Tyson's on these, it's not for good things. So I thought I would take the rare moment.
No, he was a scary dude when he first got on the scene.
On this day in 1986, Edmonton Oiler Wayne Gretzky, the great one, became the 13th NHLer to score 500 goals. He'd go on to score a lot more than that.
You know what Josh would say? He's pretty good.
Pretty good, yes. On this day, 1989, MLB center fielder Kirby Puckett signed a record $3 million per year contract with Minnesota Twins.
$3 million.
And on this day, 1991, the New York Knicks paid Patrick Ewing a record $18.8 million for a 2-year extension. Boy, how's money changed over 30 years.
Kirby Puckett was so good.
Yes. And Patrick Ewing was pretty good too.
Yeah.
Let's see here. See if we have any other good ones. A lot of Iron Bowl. On this day in 2008, Patrick Wall's number 33 jersey was retired by the Montreal Canadiens.
Mm-hmm.
I like to think of him more as an Avalanche, but that's okay. He's pretty good for both teams.
It's mispronounced. It should be Patrick Roy.
On this day in 2016, the Vegas Golden Knights were revealed as the Las Vegas NHL expansion team's name, and they've done pretty good for themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And that's going to do it for today's On This Day events, sports history events that have happened on November 22nd, which is brought to you by Performer Print House. If you're looking for a trustworthy, dependable resource for your next trade show, company picnic, or sales meeting, Performer Print House has over 50 years combined experience in promotional products and commercial print. They strive for fast and efficient response to all your print needs. You need to look no further. Let them be your one-source print and promotional company by giving them a call at 574-210-3815. Another crazy weekend in the NFL.
Yeah.
Upsets galore, it seems like any week. And I did not get the title back. Josh is up 65 to 60 points on me going into tonight. We both have Tampa Bay for a high margin. So I'm not winning that title back. So unfortunately, he gets lucky for the second straight week.
He gets lucky an awful lot.
I'm coming for it this week. Mm-hmm. I'm going to start hot on Thanksgiving Day and run through the weekend. But give me 3 winners and 3 losers for week 12. Starting with the winners, give me one of your winners.
Well, the Indianapolis Colts.
They are one of my winners as well.
They've won 6 of their last 8. Their 2 losses were to Baltimore when they missed 2 kicks in the last 4 minutes in overtime, and to Tennessee when Wentz had 2 of his 3 interceptions of the whole year were in like a 5-minute span.
He's only thrown 3 picks all year.
Yeah.
Couldn't have told you
2 of them were shuffle passes.
Wow.
One left-handed even.
Yeah, that was one he had to get off, wasn't it?
Yeah.
You know?
But anyway, Colts are on fire. I would not want to play them. Nobody's standing out in the AFC right now.
They arguably have the MVP of the league.
Yeah.
Jonathan Taylor, I think.
He made his
maybe
case.
Aside from Derrick Henry, he's the best running back in the league.
5 touchdowns in the cold, rainy Buffalo weather. If the Colts play outside games where you don't have to throw for 300 yards, watch out for the Colts.
That's never been the Colts style.
I know. This
under
is
Luck,
so
under Manning and Luck, they struggled in the cold weather where they had to throw the ball.
Yeah. You know, they always think of the Colts of having great quarterbacks, but think they've also had Marshall Faulk, Eric Dickerson, and Edgerrin James.
Yeah, I don't remember Falk as a Colt. I remember mostly as a Ram. I remember Edgerrin. And then they had some, I mean, not guys of that caliber, but Joseph Adai was a Pro Bowler for a year. And now I can't even think of any other Colt running backs now that I bring it up. But
Frank Gore at the end of
Frank
his
Gore,
career.
thank you. Yeah, yep. So they've had some serviceable guys. But
Dominic Roach could have been the MVP of the Super Bowl win over the Bears.
Yeah.
I think that was a Peyton Lifetime Appreciation Award.
Yeah. So the Colts, I mean, did not see that coming as the Bills. And spoiler alert, the Bills are one of my 3 losers.
Me too.
They've
lost it.
A few weeks ago, I penciled them in as my Super Bowl representative of the AFC, and I don't know what's going on.
If Josh Allen isn't having a great day, they're not.
They got no run game. They have a good defense, even though they show yesterday.
They can't stop the run.
Yeah.
Colts ran it down their throats.
Yeah. That was a rematch from the playoffs last year.
And they've only got 1 win this year. And I like Buffalo. They're my second favorite team. They only have 1 win over a good team. They beat Kansas City, who was not playing good at the time.
Now they're hot.
And now they're hot.
Who's one of your other winners?
Well, Kansas City.
Are they?
Yeah.
4 straight.
Yeah.
I hate them.
And
I hate them.
And they're not scoring. But their defense all of a sudden is playing ball.
I would think if you made me pick my AFC representative in the Super Bowl today on November 22nd for the 3rd year in a row, it's Kansas City. I hate them.
I think you're probably right.
They're starting to click.
It's going to come a time they're going to start. You know, they got the running back yesterday. That helped.
Yeah.
Travis Kelce has not played as well this year. He had another interception yesterday. It was his fault. The ball was about half a foot behind him, and he bobbled it straight up in the air.
They got to take advantage of this window. I've said this many times on the podcast. Their window's going to shrink because of their contract status.
Well, absolutely. But they've had, 3 AFC championship games in a row. I mean, that's taken advantage of it. So, But Kansas City, I did not want to watch Kansas City and Dallas, but, that's what TV gave us.
Yep. Well, I imagine that. That didn't surprise me.
No.
One of my other winners, Arizona Cardinals.
That was my third
They go into Seattle without Kyler Murray.
Or
DeAndre Hopkins. And Colt McCoy just balls out.
He's playing great.
Scares me to death because that is just I could see him being a Bronco quarterback. So that's what they like to do, grab the backups that had good games.
You've had a lot of Colt McCoys the last 6-7 years.
Yeah, over that.
But, they were my third winner.
Yeah. I mean, they still have weapons without DeAndre, but
Rondell Moore actually had 11 catches,
good
only
for
for
him.
50 yards.
Yeah, he hasn't scored many touchdowns this year, but he's doing fine.
Yeah.
He's doing fine, and that's still a tough place to play, Seattle. But Seattle, woof,
Yeah.
3-7.
Yeah.
I think Russell's done. Not done as a player, but I don't think he's back on Seattle after this year.
Well, and he may have come back too soon from his hand, but he has not looked.
Their
good.
window's closed. Yeah. I wouldn't be shocked if Pete Carroll's done there too.
He's 74, 75.
It's time.
Yeah.
I mean,
he might go take that LSU job and see what happens.
USC's open again.
Yeah.
And my third winner is the Minnesota Vikings. I don't think I've picked the Vikings all year this year. Friend of the podcast, Logan Strim, has let me know this year on when my picks came out on Thursday on the graphic. He commented, "Packers are frauds." Yesterday, told you so.
Yeah.
So good win for the Vikings. Kirk Cousins probably in the MVP discussion.
Well, 21 touchdowns, 2 interceptions.
Yeah.
The two guys I hear them ripping on these morning shows for making mistakes are Kirk Cousins and Carson Wentz. One's thrown 2 picks and one's thrown 3. They're the 2 least intercepted players in pro football this year. But the Vikings have, if you take the running back and 2 receivers, I don't know if there's a team in the NFL better than Cook, Thielen, and Jefferson.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So, Kirk's got some options.
Yeah, he does.
Captain Kirk.
And you already gave one of your I gave one of my losers,
Buffalo,
the Bills.
yeah.
You had, was that the only loser you've had so far?
Yep.
Who was one of your other losers?
Vegas.
Yeah, me too.
They've hit the skids. I thought they were for real. Of course, you had the Gruden thing, and now you had
it didn't matter. The week of the Gruden thing, they went to Denver and kicked the tar out of Denver. I saw that one firsthand.
Yeah, you did. And but then they lost Ruggs, and that was their speed.
Yeah.
But they're back to making late hits.
Yep. Doing just stupid things.
Derek Carr's not playing as well all of a sudden.
He might be done as a Raider, and he's one.
He's a good quarterback.
He might, if he comes available, that might be my number one choice for the Broncos.
Derek Carr's a good quarterback.
I think he's a good guy.
Mm-hmm.
He's a leader. I think he could just use a change of scenery, and I would take him in. I would take him over Rodgers and Wilson. Call me crazy, but Rodgers, he's elite, but he's only got a couple years left. And
Derek Carr's a top.
That's who I would
12
want
quarterback
if he
in the
comes
NFL.
Available. He's an upgrade from Bridgewater, I think.
Yeah, and he throws it deep too.
Yeah. Who's your third loser?
The Titans.
We had the same 3 losers.
Yeah, the Titans.
How could you not put them in the
Ryan
loser category?
Tannehill had the worst game of his career.
Well, A.J. Brown went down.
Yeah, and they're losing pieces too,
Houston was a team I didn't think they were going to win another game.
No. And they both Tennessee and Buffalo had just diabolical special team errors where the other team got the ball inside the 5-yard line because of a guy tripping or ball hitting their foot and stuff. And boy, in the NFL, you cannot give away 7 points like that.
And that was huge. I mean, Colts are just knocking on that door all of a sudden for the AFC South.
If they would have won that game against the Titans that second time, I think they'd win that division because the Titans, predictably, without Henry, you can't rely on Julio. He's hurt all the time.
He's old.
And then A.J. Brown getting dinged up. Tannehill's a good quarterback if he has a lot of things with him. But
he's perfect for that team. But
he's not a guy who carries
He can't go out and win you a game. Right. He will not lose you a game, usually.
Although he lost one yesterday.
Yes. No. So, well, let's go ahead and pick some games with confident points. And for everybody listening and watching, the J-Man is supposed to send me his picks later this week for the graphic. But Dad's going to give me his picks too. So
yeah.
Thursday, Thanksgiving, we have 3 matchups. This first one might be the worst Thanksgiving matchup I've ever seen. Mm-hmm. Chicago at Detroit.
I can't believe I'm saying this, but I'm going Chicago 5.
I got the Bears for 12. That's how bad I think Detroit is.
Yeah, Detroit's not good.
If they start Boyle, look at his college resume. How did he make the NFL?
I don't know.
Start David Blau, please.
And Andy Dalton actually played better than Fields has been playing.
Yeah.
But
even if Fields and Goff were available, this wouldn't be a fun game to watch.
I heard on the way over here, they said it was a Fox radio station. They were saying, watch for Jared Goff versus Justin Fields on Thursday. And I'm thinking, that still doesn't sound good.
0 wins and 3 wins.
Yeah.
But Chicago for 12. Las Vegas Raiders at the Dallas Cowboys.
So this has changed a lot in the last couple of weeks. I hate Dallas.
Yep, me too.
but Vegas is stinking.
Yep.
I'm going Dallas for 15.
I have Dallas for 15 as well.
You do?
Yes. Look at my notes. I do. Cowboys have been awful for the last 3 weeks, but I think the Raiders are just in disarray. It's awful.
Dallas usually wins on Thanksgiving, too.
Yeah. Then the nightcap, Buffalo at New Orleans. I can't say I'm excited about any 3 of these games.
Well, all 6 of the teams come in with a loss from
Limping.
Sunday.
Yeah.
All 6 of them got beat.
Limping.
Just because this is as big a must game as Buffalo's had in 3 years, I'm going Buffalo for 7.
I have Buffalo for 13.
Yeah.
They
haven't earned it, though.
I don't
lately.
have faith in my guy, Trevor Team Money Wiggle Simeon. He looks okay one week, and I'm like, man, I wish Denver would have kept on to him. And then you see what he did yesterday. It's like,
he's playing great in the fourth quarter when they're down 18 points.
Yeah, he's padding the stats. But
Sean
Payton loves himself some Tyson Hill.
Yeah. Well, did you see that? It's $95 million if he's a starting quarterback a lot. It's only $40 million.
It's a hybrid contract, kind of the first of its kind.
Yeah.
So
he's a hybrid player.
Yes,
he is a good football player.
He is. Atlanta at Jacksonville.
My gosh. I got Jacksonville for 2. I think Atlanta might be one of the worst teams in football right now.
I went with Jacksonville with a point against San Fran, and they looked awful.
Yeah, they did.
I'm not picking them anymore. I'm taking Atlanta for 11. I am going heavy early, so I'm going to know if I'm going to win or lose the week pretty quick.
Calvin Ridley's out. I don't know. Atlanta just looks god-awful.
Matt Ryan could be done in Atlanta. It might be time for
He's had a great career
for him.
He's a 28-3 lead and maybe making the Hall of Fame.
Stafford got his wish to get out. Maybe
Matt Ryan could still quarterback 10 or 12 teams.
Yep. New York Jets at the Houston Texans. This is going to be a fun one.
I circled 1 and I changed it. I put the Jets for 3.
I took the Texans for 2, and I'm looking at it, and I'm wondering why I did that.
Yeah. God, I mean, those 2 games.
Well, is Wilson ready to play? If not, it's going to be Joe Flacco against Tyrod Taylor.
That's why I picked the Jets, because Flacco's decent.
No,
I know he's not.
He was a couple years ago, not anymore.
He's better than these 2 kids they had.
Zach Wilson, that's not fair. He's got time.
But, in these pick-ems, you usually have easy times picking your 15-4.
Today this was hard.
But the 4 teams you always pick against are playing each other.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So that's why they're all so hard.
Tennessee at New England. Don't look now, but New England's winning the AFC East.
I've got New England for 11.
I got New England for 5.
Yeah.
I think they're back to being a good team. And I know Josh is like a broken record every week. Mac Jones is the future.
He's probably the rookie of the year.
He's the best of the rookie quarterbacks.
Well, he got the best situation. There's no question. If he was playing for Jacksonville, he'd be 1 or 2
or
wins.
the Jets.
And Trevor Lawrence,
or
if you put
Bears.
him with New England, he'd be doing all right.
Yeah. He's definitely got the best situation.
Yeah, but Mac Jones, that's too bad.
Everybody laughed at him.
Joe Montana got in the right situation too. You know? Sometimes
everybody laughed at him.
Yeah.
Philadelphia at the New York Giants. Giants play tonight against the Buccaneers. I kind of wish I could watch their performance tonight because Saquon's returning.
And so's Galladay.
And on the flip side, Gronk's back for Tampa Bay tonight. But I think Philadelphia's playing some good ball. I'm taking them for 10.
I got them for 4. And I think Philly right now has a chance to sneak in and get that last playoff spot because their schedule is – they don't have to fly again this year. Their road games are just right around the corner.
I thought you meant fly as in Falcons. I thought you were doing a pun. But, that's –
It'd actually be Eagles because they're Philadelphia.
What did I say?
Falcons.
Oh, I meant – okay, yeah. A lot of birds on the brain tonight.
You want to apologize to Chan and J-Man Nation?
Tan and J-Man Show Nation probably got a kick out of your little pun there. And I know a friend of the Tan and J-Man Show and part of Tan and J-Man Show Nation, Sean Shriver's been saying he thinks the Eagles are close to being for real.
I hate it when he's right. Sorry, Sean.
Well, let's see if you'll make Sean mad with this one. Steelers at the Cincinnati Bengals.
I think I will. I got the Bengals for 10.
I got the Bengals for 8.
Yeah. And it's not done. I don't know. But Big Ben played good football last night. But Pittsburgh, they had like 4 or 5 defensive players, including Watt and Hayden, not playing.
They have to draft a quarterback, don't they?
They got it. Well, and there's no good quarterback.
Or maybe go get one if Big
maybe that's where like a Derek Carr could go.
Or a Matt Ryan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think they'll call Charlie Batch out of retirement.
No, I don't think so either. Tampa Bay at Indianapolis. Brady's first.
All right, here's my first upset. I got Indy for 1.
I do too.
Yeah.
I finally picked the Colts fans. So if you lose, it's my fault, I guess. I pick against you every week, you win.
And if Indy beats Tampa, watch out. Because they've still got the Texans. They've still got the Jaguars. They can make a run.
Carolina at Miami.
Miami's quietly won 3 in a row. So the fight
and
Josh
think
Muntz
it's
for
quietly
6.
making Josh Munt mad because it's ruining their draft pick. And they got the Jets coming up, I think.
Miami's going to go in about another 2 or 3 game win
streak. Get his
streak.
hopes right back up.
Yeah.
You see him call out their awful general manager yesterday for passing on Jonathan Taylor.
Yeah, he's been on him for getting Justin Herbert. Now it's for not getting Jonathan
And I think
Taylor.
I did have Taylor mocked to the Dolphins that year, all my mocks. So I'm taking the Dolphins for 3.
Mm-hmm.
The Los Angeles Chargers at the Denver Broncos.
I don't have that. I had the Rams playing the Broncos.
The
Chargers.
The Rams play the Packers.
Oh, okay. Well, I've got this wrong then. Well, that just kills my whole thing. I'm thinking the Chargers will beat the Broncos, but it's not going to be for 14 like I had down.
I wouldn't be shocked. I have the Chargers for 9. Broncos are coming off a bye.
Yeah.
Chargers got a good win last night against Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Broncos are going to get some pass rush help back when Bradley Chubb's going to come back first time since week 2, but their best offensive lineman, Garrett Bowles, wouldn't have said that a few years ago. Left tackle, he's still out. They did get Tim Patrick and Cortland Sutton wrapped up contract extensions, which tells me George Payton's really trying to go after a good quarterback because they got 4 young wide receivers locked up through 2024 now.
That'll do it.
But I don't see the Broncos winning too many more games this year. I think they'll have a new head coach, a new quarterback, and probably a new owner here in 6 months, and I'm taking the Chargers for 9.
Mm-hmm.
Minnesota at San Francisco.
Winner of this game is in the playoffs. They're both hot. I'm picking San Francisco for 9 because I think they'll bully ball Minnesota.
I was liking San Francisco on a decline because I want Kyle Shanahan to be the Broncos' next head coach. But finally, Logan Schrim, I think it's the first time all season, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe if they played the Lions, I probably went with them. But Minnesota for 7.
Well, one thing going for it, San Francisco is like 4-1 on the road, but they're 1-4 at home, and they're playing at San Francisco.
Yep.
But I think San Francisco is my pick to kind of take off right now. Jimmy G's playing good.
Yeah, I would surely like to put Trey Lance in there if he's healthy. But
yeah, but you can't right now.
The Los Angeles Rams at Green Bay Packers.
Well, this is where I thought the Chargers were, and I have Green Bay for 12 because I think Green Bay needs this game.
I got Green Bay for 4. I think they get it done at home. But and the Rams a few weeks
ago,
I thought were the best team in the NFL, and now they've slept.
They've lost 2 in a row.
Yeah. Off a bye.
Rodgers looked incredible yesterday, but
he's got to have a heck of a defense and a pass rush to go against, though.
But the Rams need it more than Green Bay.
Yeah.
Green Bay's division's pretty well shown up, even though Minnesota's coming. But
our Sunday night game this week, the Cleveland Browns at the Baltimore Ravens.
I got the Ravens for 13.
I got the Ravens for 14, hoping Lamar plays.
Yeah. Well, and Baker's playing.
He's another one that's in the media getting ripped on.
He is, and he needs to get off social media. He needs to get his wife off social media.
He needs to play a little smarter, too. He still plays a little too aggressive at times.
He overthrows a lot. He had an overthrow.
He's a competitor, but...
Yeah. Cleveland still could make the playoffs, but right now... they
had expectations going in this year.
And nobody wins close games like Baltimore.
Nope. They're grinders.
Bears had them yesterday.
Yep.
Detroit, the 66-yard field goal.
Yeah.
Overtime against the Chiefs when they're down 11. Overtime against the Colts when they're down 18.
They did lose. Nope, they beat the Vikings.
Yeah, in overtime.
Yeah.
And, Cincinnati blew them out by 24. Yeah. You don't know what you get with Baltimore, but they win tight games.
That's
and
why
they got the best kicker.
North.
Best kicker to ever play.
Ever. Seattle at Washington football team is the Monday Nighter.
I got Washington for 8.
I got him for 6. Heineke's a gamer.
He is.
I feel bad for Hacksaw. Ryan Fitzpatrick should be the quarterback of this team. He's fun to watch week in, week out, but he's probably not coming back. In bye weeks this week, Arizona and Kansas City.
Neither one will lose.
No, they won't. That's why it was a great sports weekend for me. Not only did the Boilermakers go 2-0 in basketball, which we'll talk about here in a bit, and won their football game, the Broncos didn't lose. Because they didn't play.
As good as you get.
I cannot ask for a better sports weekend. But the word association segment this week revolves around the NFL and Thanksgiving.
Okay.
I listed a bunch of the past NFL Thanksgiving MVPs. Fox calls it something differently than CBS.
Yeah.
I don't know I think the NFL Network NBC now has one at night. So I just went through. There's tons of players. I just picked out some.
Okay.
Alex Smith.
Courageous.
That's for sure. I mean, man, he almost lost his leg.
Yeah. Good dude.
Deshaun Watson. I was just interested in what you might say here. Not a good human being.
Yeah, he's.
Will he ever play again?
I don't know how you can take him.
The Dolphins tried.
I know. He's a good quarterback.
Yeah.
But it's just he's a troublemaker.
Yeah, that's fair. Drew Brees.
Legend.
Kirk Cousins.
Underrated.
Ryan Kerrigan.
Classy guy.
Hadn't done much this year for the Eagles.
He's done.
Yeah. Jay Cutler.
Jerk.
Richard Sherman.
Jerk.
Reggie Bush.
Greatest college player I ever saw.
He was must-watch TV.
Yeah.
So was Christian McCaffrey a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
Emmitt Smith.
He's not the best, but he was a gamer. He played with separated shoulder. He led all-time leader in rushing yards,
Cowboys and Cardinal. Remember he went to the Cardinals at the very end.
He shouldn't have done that.
Brett Favre.
Tough. He was fun.
Tough.
Yeah. Brett Favre he would just throw it.
It was hard to watch him that last year in Minnesota. I thought he died 3 different times on the football field.
He's a definition of gunslinger. He just threw it.
Ron Dane. He did this as a member of the Broncos in 2005.
He was a bully against Purdue.
Heisman Trophy winner at Wisconsin.
Yeah, I'll never forget that game. He just got one of those 3-point games there protecting the fourth quarter, and he just ran over people.
And it's funny you mentioned this guy. I thought I was going to pull him out of habit. You mentioned him already. This is the first time Charlie Batch has been mentioned twice on the Tan and J-Man show.
Charlie Batch. He was the third rookie taken behind Peyton Manning and Ryan Leaf. And Manning was leading the league in interceptions. I'll never forget. It was about game 5. The guy goes, well, I think Charlie Batch was the pick of the 3. And, he really wasn't.
He's better than Leaf, though.
Yeah.
So, the Word Associated segment is brought to you by, like it is every week, Rhett Lee, attorney at law. Rhett Lee and the law office of Andrew McKee, LLC, are located at 206 4th Street in Logansport, Indiana. Rhett provides legal services to the people of North Central Indiana and practices criminal defense, family law, and personal injury. If you need a lawyer who cares about your results and will fight for you, call him today to schedule a free consultation at 574-722-2221. College hoops.
Yeah.
Feast week is come and gone, and as Purdue fans, we couldn't ask for a better weekend.
No, it was very encouraging, to say the least. They beat in 2 games, they beat the 2016, 17, and 18 national champions, because it was Villanova.
And Carolina was runner-up one of those years too, Villanova.
And I was really impressed Saturday because Carolina made everything, and they were so athletic. I thought, man, that's going to be a good win. And then Carolina just got torched yesterday.
They might end up being a good team, but
they'll be a 7 or 8 seed in the tourney, and nobody's going to want to play them because they got high school All-Americans.
Kind of in a transition year for Carolina, if they can have such a thing.
And then, Villanova, it's interesting. One of the things that kind of benefited Purdue is they play 9, 10 guys. Villanova plays 6, 7, and it's 2 days in a row. And Villanova, they wore them down. And Edey and Williams, they draw a lot of fouls. And Purdue's one of the few teams that they can lose their first string center and maybe get better.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. And here's the thing: Villanova went 9 for 17 from the line. They're 87% team from the line. You could tell they were tired.
Yeah, and in the last 9 minutes and 36 seconds, Purdue shot 11 for 11 from the field and 9 for 10 from the foul line. Made one boneheaded pass under the basket inbounds. That's kind of a Purdue staple. That's a Purdue staple, but. Very encouraged. Yeah. I won't go as far to say it's the greatest non-conference wins. I was starting to think in the last 20 or 30 years, they've had a number of them. Arizona's a couple times, Duke, Louisville a couple times. But, it was a big one. Who was it? Even Virginia, the defending national champion. But a lot of those are on Mackey Arena. This was a neutral court. Yep. And it actually sounded like Villanova probably had a bigger crowd there than Purdue because Philadelphia's considerably closer than West Lafayette, but it
had a tournament feel though.
It did. It's almost like you beat a team like Carolina. You might, if you're a 1 or 2 seed type of team, you get in the second round. Villanova's maybe the type of team you'd have to beat to get to the Final Four. Villanova's not going to go anywhere this year. They are the class of the Big East.
Oh, they'll be right there, and they'll be in top 3 seed in the tournament. You won't want to play them.
Yeah,
Jay Wright's as good as coach as there is. Classy guy too. But Purdue, you talked about 2-headed monster, and they got Jaden Ivey's Carson Edwards was explosive and a better shooter than Jaden. Nobody's gets to the hoop with these like I've seen in Jaden Ivey.
Purdue will have a problem this year because they're at their best when Ivey's running, and you got like Caleb First flies for a 6'10".
He runs like a deer,
and he's on one side, and then you got shooter like Stavanovich on the other side.
Or Newman.
But when you run, then you don't get set up to get it
Right.
into Edie or Williams.
Right.
So,
but he's doing a good job of getting other guys involved.
yeah. Ivy played spectacular. It was interesting. The public relations director for Purdue did not know who to nominate for the MVP for the tournament. I don't think any of the Purdue guys got it, did they?
Well, I didn't see him get MVP. Your Big Ten Player of the Week, he didn't know who to nominate.
Okay.
He nominated Travion Williams. He wins it. Travion did not make the all-conference team. Jaden Ivey and Zach Edey did.
Oh, you mean the all-tournament team?
Yeah, the all-tournament team, yeah.
Yeah. But I think the kid I'm most impressed with so far is Caleb First. But one nice thing that Purdue has is they've got that three-headed monster of Ivy, Edey, and Williams.
Yeah.
And then game 1, Stevanovic was on fire. Game 2, it was Isaiah Thompson.
I was going to say, he's the most impressed for me.
Yeah, he hadn't turned the ball over this year.
Going to year, I'm like, he's starting over Eric Hunter.
Yeah,
why? But they praised him throughout summer workouts, and he's proven not only did he make big shots, he hit 4 threes, he doesn't turn over the ball much like his brother, and he shut Gillespie down.
And he's going to have open shots this year because you're going to have to double down to help those big guys. And they're not going to leave Stevanovic.
No.
But, Brandon Newman is the only boiler, and then Gillis yesterday that I didn't think brought it.
Gillis, you can expect that after being suspended for 6 games. Ethan Morton's minutes will probably get cut into a little bit by Gillis, and that's too bad.
He helps, yeah.
He helps on defense, but I've never seen a Purdue team run 10 guys, and it's amazing.
You're not going to keep everybody happy.
Nope.
And so
they're up to number 3 in the rankings, and if they take care of Omaha on Friday, as they should, they're going to move up to at least number 2 because number 1 and number 2, Gonzaga and UCLA, play each other.
Yeah.
If you're a Purdue fan, you want Gonzaga to take care of business, UCLA, and then Duke to beat them later this week, then you're number 1 for first time in school history.
Yeah, it's almost embarrassing. They've never reached number 1.
Hard to believe.
Yeah, they've been 2 and 3, but they've never been 1.
Yeah, but fun weekend to be a Purdue fan.
Yeah, they're a good team. I mean,
we'll see. If they stay healthy. I know we're talking on November 22nd, and it's very early at 5-0. If they stay healthy, but you got to think it's Final Four or bust, though, don't you? If they stay healthy,
it's just so
I know
hard.
the tournament's a crapshoot, but I think we have to dream up there.
Well, you do, but we've seen a great Illinois team last year.
Yes. Weird year, though.
I don't want to give them any credit, but the year that IU had Zeller and Oladipo, and
they ran into a matchup nightmare for them.
So you never know.
I know.
NCAA, but they're one of a few teams that wouldn't shock you.
I think they made their footprint known yesterday. They're elite and considered for a national title.
And they still have some tough non-conference games. Florida State, North Carolina State.
Sure.
I thought Butler, but
Florida State's already lost 1 game to Florida.
I know. But that doesn't mean they're not athletic.
The Big Ten as a whole right now only has 3 teams ranked left. Michigan lost 2 last week. They fell from 4 to 20. Ohio State's, I know they got 1 guy hurt, and they're struggling.
Illinois, Coburn didn't play, but they lost to a good Marquette team by 1.
Well, I'm going to check real quick what some of these scores are. There are some Big Ten teams in action. I know we're going to have to wrap this up shortly.
Seton Hall and Ohio State play.
Yeah, I'm trying to check the scores here, but my phone wants to be slow. But the Big Ten, I think, at the end of the year, it will still be one of the best conferences in the country. It's just starting off slow. Ohio State's up 54-43 with 14-17 left. The Cincinnati Bearcats are up 1, 32 seconds left in the first half in the Illinois Fighting Illini.
And Coburn's back.
Yes, that game's in Kansas City.
Well, yeah, and so far the Big Ten's not looked good. I mean, Indiana and Northwestern are both undefeated. I was looking at Indiana's schedule. They have a legitimate shot to be undefeated.
Going into conference.
Going into Purdue.
Yeah.
I mean, their first 4 Big Ten games are the bottom, the Nebraska. So we'll see.
Yep.
We don't know how good Indiana is. I have no idea. I mean, they've had 2 tough games, but we'll see.
Yep.
Northwestern, same way.
Yep. So, and one thing I should mention, a few things, but as we wrap up this show, the J-Man's Book of Prediction of the Week, which I didn't do a Book of Prediction of the Week because I didn't have one ready and I didn't want to step on J-Man's toes, is brought to you by, like it is every week, Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance Agent Travis Watring. Travis offers life insurance, home insurance, auto insurance, renter's insurance, business insurance, workers' comp, farm insurance, annuities, and more. So if you're looking for a new insurance agent, contact Travis at 219-869-4561. His email address is travis.watering@infb.com. And he also serves the clients of the state of Ohio, which Travis is a big Ohio State fan, basketball fan. So I'm sure he's a little disappointed in their start. And this podcast is brought to you by, like it is every week, the Dam Landing and Circle 15. Go get yourself some great barbecue from the Dam Landing and Circle 15 at circle15golf.com. They have great golf specials going on. Black Friday's coming up. Perfect gift for the golfer in your family. Get them a glove hub, a glove, a hat, divot repair tool, ball marker. We're all bundled together. So hit me with that birdie bogey one more time, please, Dad.
All right, Thanksgiving, 3 days away. Who's the all-time leader in receiving yards on Thanksgiving Day games only?
I'm going to go with Michael Irvin.
You are not correct.
Ah, crud. I'm 3 strokes back.
You forgot about old Jason Witten.
Wow, I did. Yeah. Wow.
Some have called him, someone the other day called him the greatest cowboy ever. I'm thinking, I don't think so. But
no,
they don't remember Roger the Dodger.
He's a good one, though.
Emmett. Yeah, he was.
Darn.
The playmaker, Troy.
3
Bob Lilly.
strokes back now.
Yeah.
Well, I know Black Friday's coming up. We got a great deal on the Tan and J-Man Show store.com from right now through the end of 2021. When you use promo code Tan and J-Man, that's in all caps at checkout, you get free shipping on any order. So we got t-shirts, sweatshirts, coffee mugs, hoodies. I said sweatshirt already. About anything you want, use that promo code and get yourself or somebody in your family a nice little Christmas gift. And I think that's going to do it for episode 262. Thanks, Dad, for filling in for the J-Man, and hope everybody has a fantastic Thanksgiving this week and eats a lot of great food.
There you go. I'll do it.
With that, we'll be back same time, same channel next Monday for episode 263. Have a great week, everybody.